Here's another good run by Montgomery. He is out, being chased by Humphrey. And brought down near the 15. They pitch to Gibbs. Touchdown! It went from Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he pitched it to Gibbs. And like Ben Johnson would call, it was a gadget play, and boy, was that a thing of beauty.
Yeah, well,
Second down and 10. Jackson in trouble again, and another sack. This time it's Anzalone and Al-Quadin Muhammad, who's been everywhere tonight, and that is a 7-sack night for the Lions.
I could watch those highlights over and over and over again. That last sack sealed Baltimore's fate in a Monday Night Football match. The Lions sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times last night. This is the Lions' first win against Baltimore in 20 years. Now, those were just some of the incredible plays from the Lions stopping Baltimore with millions of people watching. Now, this one was close throughout the first half as the two teams traded touchdowns in the second half. The Lions started to pull away, and then they sealed the deal, stripping Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. The Lions win 38-30, and the defense stepped up big.
It means a lot. I mean, it's you know, those guys. You don't have to say much. I mean, you know, we got enough guys that were here the last time, and they also know. Yeah, I mean, you got to be blind not to see what that team does and how they play, and the physicality, the toughness, the nature of everything they're about, their identity. That you better be ready. You know, you better be ready. You can't come in here and tiptoe. So we were ready. You know, and like I say, it was a big win. It took every one of us. And I just thought the players, man, they stepped up and made huge plays at critical times.
Now, while the defense stepped up, so did the offense with trickery and a strong O-line that kept Baltimore's defense at bay. Players like David Montgomery and Aiden Hutchinson shined, but the players say it was a collective team effort.
I thought it was awesome. It really was. I think last week was a good representation of what we want to do, and I thought, again, being able to kind of springboard off of that last week and do it again in a different fashion, though. You know, more running the ball, more ground and pound. Obviously, Demo had the night he had is incredible, and I think we displayed that we can win in different ways, and I got to talk about how good our defense was tonight and everything they did to get us back on the field when we were sputtering a little bit, and those guys were incredible.
I feel like a lot of the run game, I wasn't getting a ton of action, you know, and then pass game, Lamar was I thought he was good getting out in the second or in the first half. He was good scrambling, and then our rush lanes got better. Coverage was marrying with good rushes, and then that's when things started picking up. And I think, you know, there's definitely sacks that you leave out there that I can think of right now, and but I think at the end of the day, we made the plays that we had to win the game. And you know, it might have been a little bit of quiet at first, but then we surged onto the scene with a couple of big plays to finish them off at the end.
It was not me at all. You know, I think you can't play this game by yourself. The guys up front, the receivers, you know, the tight ends. Like, you can't do that at all without those guys up front being selfless enough to be able to move those guys out the way so that I can have the right read. So my job is easy. You know, they did the hard part. So, again, I'm grateful for those guys.
All right, look at the smile on my face. The Lions now tied for first place in the NFC North. They get a short week to recover before the next game. They're hosting the Cleveland Browns Sunday. Ford Field, 1 o'clock kickoff. The Browns are coming off a victory of their own, beating the Packers. Again, 1 o'clock is the game. So Rhonda's here. Derek is here. Before we get to this, let me just show you something right here. This, what the analysts had to say before the game yesterday. The Lions posted this on their Instagram page showing almost all the analysts picking Baltimore to win. The Lions' response to that, clock it.
And honestly, there were more analysts because those aren't even the names of the guys and gals that were on the field before the game.
Eight ESPN analysts, all of them
picked the Ravens. And that's how we started the game. And I was like, really? The utter disrespect.
That's how we roll, though.
It is kind of Detroit versus everybody and us having to show our grit. But why do we have to keep proving ourselves?
Yeah.
Like, we're one of the best teams last season. We were in the NFC Championship the season before. We got the same players. Like, why do people still underestimate us?
Yeah, I mean, I think people just really were shocked by that week 1. And this is just a reminder, like, sometimes teams have really bad games. I mean, look at the Packers last week. Nobody thought they were going to lose to the Browns,
They
right?
sure didn't,
So
but thank you, Browns.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Cleveland. We don't like to say that a lot, but
Not
thanks,
much.
Cleveland.
First time.
Yeah, the Lions, they don't miss something like that where they have a chance to put a chip on their shoulder. So they were thinking about 2 years ago when they got stomped in Baltimore. They were thinking about everybody picking the Ravens, and obviously they were going to call people out. So.
You know, all the guys kept saying it's a team effort, it's a collective effort, on and on and on. But Demo, 151 rushing yards, a career high, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he kind of carried things for a good portion of that game.
They couldn't stop him. It's like, just keep giving him the ball.
Let him go.
Yeah, Jameer Gibbs is like the shiny toy, right? Like, he's like the most athletic guy, great in the passing game. Like, everybody loves him in fantasy. But then David Montgomery every once in a while will just be like, hey, remember me? You know, I'm the bell cow. Like, I'm the guy who can get a tough yard. I'm the guy who gets in the end zone. And so, yeah, he's just such a critical piece to this Lions team. Yeah.
And not just a short yardage. He had some breakaway runs that were pretty awesome.
Yeah,
but that does speak to the offensive line, too.
Well, and the defensive line, too. I mean, we had how many sacks? It was 7 sacks. 7 sacks on Lamar. So it's.
And then some people stepped up on defense. Like Mohamed, he had
he was great.
3 sacks. And Aiden Hutchinson, I just think they were double teaming him and making it really tricky. Like, even the plays I was watching, and I thought, they're always going away from Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Did you notice that, too?
Which I would do, too, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, he's a playmaker, right? And he showed it at the end. But, yeah, you know, one of the things that we love to say here in Detroit is that we can't stop running quarterbacks. This is, like, probably the best performance that the Lions have had against a true dual-threat quarterback that I can remember. I mean, they had Lamar looking so shocked and confused on the bench, and that's, like, that's the best quarterback in the league. So if you can do it against him, you can do it against
I'll tell you what, some of my favorite cutaways of the game, the shots of the Ravens, were them just looking in such disbelief. Like, what is happening?
You saw Lamar Jackson just shaking his head in frustration all game, and then when Derrick Henry had the meltdown, you're like, yes, because that's all they were talking about is how great that guy is, and our running backs were amazing.
Right. One of the great things that we saw in the game were those long, sustained drives, 96, 97. Do you think we'll see more of that throughout the season?
Well, hopefully the special teams don't put the Lions in a position where they need to do that. I mean, there were some questionable decisions there in the return game, but that offense is just relentless. I mean, to give up an 18-play touchdown drive is so demoralizing for a defense because you're assuming, like, okay, we pin them back on their own goal line. We're going to get the ball back at midfield. Nope. The Lions are going to take a full 11 minutes off the clock and score.
And can we just talk about how they do it? We have so many weapons.
Yeah.
When you look at all the potential things that can happen off the line, we've got a couple of running backs. We have Laporta. We have Amon-Ra. Like, we have Jameer Gibbs, who doesn't just run as a running back, but he was running routes and catching plays like a receiver.
And you still have Dan Campbell making some not questionable decisions, but going for it, as we know he will.
Always.
Call them courageous.
There you go, courageous decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but let's talk about that one that just sealed it in the fourth quarter when you're like, what are they going to do? You know, they're in the potential of giving the ball back.
It was like
4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 2.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking, obviously, it's going to be a run play because they've been running it up the gut the whole time. And then all of a sudden they throw it to Amon-Ra. It was just like, oh my gosh, this team is so good.
Yeah, he's fearless and he trusts his guys. And why wouldn't he? I mean, it seems like almost every time he dials up one of those risky moves, the Lions come through. And I mean, Jared Goff came through in all of them.
Oh, no question.
Jared Goff was locked in. He was cooking all night.
Yeah.
And you knew it was going to be a shootout, and Jared Goff was very much up to the task.
One of my favorite things, too, watching is sometimes the players after the game don't even realize how lucky they were in some instances. They showed Aiden as he's walking in the tunnel after the game, the video of him punching it out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't realize I had it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
We're like, that had to be intentional. Oh, okay, but then speaking of that, I like how they celebrated afterwards. They had that bowling pin move. I was like, that's cool. One other thing I thought was a huge highlight, just spoke to the defensive line holding the line at the goal line, 4 downs, like 4th and goal for the Ravens, and they could not get in the end zone.
They couldn't get through.
Speaking of demoralizing.
Like Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, if those guys aren't getting a yard, nobody's getting a yard on you. That was an amazing. That was a big turning point in the game for sure. Yep.
So how does this then change the narrative for the rest of the season? Because there were so many people saying, if you can't beat the Ravens, you're not going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess we answered that.
Right.
I wouldn't have agreed with that.
Okay.
First of all, I thought yesterday, after what the Lions did to the Bears, was kind of almost like a house money sort of game. As long as the Lions didn't get blown out, if they played well and lost to the Ravens, you could live with that.
Right.
The fact that they won, I think the narrative changes to this is a Super Bowl contender again. Like what happened with the Packers now looks like a little bit of an anomaly. You've got Cleveland and Cincinnati coming up next, a chance to maybe build up a couple wins. I think the Lions are back to looking like a contender in the NFC.
Now, was that an anomaly with the Cleveland Browns, or are they a little good?
They have a great defense.
Are they a little good?
They have a little bit.
A little bad.
Yeah, they have a legitimately very good defense, and I think the Packers probably overlooked them a little bit. That was the best thing that could have happened to the Lions because there's no way the Lions are overlooking them now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So predictions for the season. I know we're early on. We're only 3 games in, but where do you think we end up settling?
Well, I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
You don't want to go that far yet?
The number one thing that this told me about the season as a whole is that even though those coordinators left and all those coaches left, they didn't take the Lions' identity with them. That identity is still here. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, those guys, clearly this team still has an identity.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting them to be, that Thanksgiving Day game against the Packers may decide the NFC North. I mean, you can't lose both to a team in your division and expect to finish ahead of them. So I think if the Lions can win that game, I think they become the favorites in the North.
Okay.
Nice.
What do you think?
I don't even remember how many games we play in the season. Is it like
17?
17?
Yeah.
So we can be 12-5.
Okay. I'm amazed that you're
I
awake
don't
right
even
now.
want us to lose 5 games, though. I feel bad for even suggesting that.
You would sign up for 12-5, though. Pretty much every year.
For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Right. How are you awake? You stayed up and watched the entire game, didn't you?
I was so fired up and so excited.
Or ticked off.
And so, I mean, yes, I did start out fired up because of just all the analysts, picking against us. But I'm a lifelong Lions fan, and seeing them good is what we've always wanted, and it just gets me excited. And then also just to get past the doubt of the coaching changes and Johnny Morton and Calvin Shepard talking about like the cutaways on the sidelines. I love seeing him so fired up as the new defensive coordinator. He had a good game plan.
He's easy to root for.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, that's the best the Lions defense has looked against a dynamic quarterback I think I've ever seen. So
Let's
keep it
that
going.
way. Let's keep it that way, all right? Okay, D.
Thanks,
Hutch, Ryan,
Nick.
thank you so much. Come back and visit anytime you want.
All right.
We keep it loose here on Local 4 Live. We'll be right back.